In this video, we're going to estimate and measure using appropriate units and scales. Let's first talk about the measurement of time. Pause the video and take a second to look at the conversions for time. Now, let's go through the following question. The question asks, how many years is 36 months? In this, we're comparing years to months, so we need to look and see how many months are in a year. There are 12 months in 1 year. To solve this, we're going to set up a proportion. The first side will be 12 months over 1 year. So to set up the other side, we could put 36 months in the numerator and x years in the denominator. How do we get from 12 to 36? We times by 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. So 36 months is 3 years. Now let's move on to length. When we use length, we're measuring how long something is. With length, we could either measure in the customary system or the metric system. Pause the video and take a look at both conversion charts. Now let's answer the following question. This question says, a house is 20 yards long. How many feet is this? When solving this, the first step is to see how many feet are in a yard. There are 3 feet in a yard. Now set up the proportion. 3 feet is equal to 1 yard, and then we have x feet over 20 yards. How do you get from 1 to 20? You times by 20. So we have to take 3 times 20. 3 times 20 is 60. So we know that 20 yards is the same as 60 feet. Now let's talk about angle measurements. Angles are measured using a unit called degrees. A small circle in the upper right-hand corner is the symbol for degrees. One type of angle is supplementary angles. These are 2 or more angles whose sum is 180 degrees. Together they make a straight line. Notice that 120 and 60 together make 180 degrees. Next, we have complementary angles. Complementary angles are 2 or more angles whose sum is 90 degrees. Together, they make a corner. You can tell you have a right angle if you have a small box such as the one pictured here. Also notice that 50 and 40 together make 90 degrees. Lastly, a circle has 360 degrees. When you look at this picture, 90 plus 270 is 360 degrees. Next, we're going to be talking about the appropriate units used when finding perimeter, area, and volume. All use length measurements, such as inches, yards, and meters. Perimeter is the distance around the two-dimensional figure. You can find perimeter by adding all the sides. When you add all the sides on this figure, you get 20 inches. Notice that the unit is just inches. Area is the amount of square units inside a two-dimensional figure. On the left, you see a rectangle. You find the area of a rectangle by taking length times width. The length is 3 units, and the width is 2 units. 2 times 3 is 6, and units times units is units squared. Notice that our units when we find area is units squared. And then we have volume. Volume is the amount of cube units inside a 3-dimensional figure. To the left is a rectangular prism. You find the volume by taking length times width times height. So we can take 5 inches times 2 inches times 3 inches. 5 times 2 times 3 is 30, and inches times inches times inches is inches cubed. When you find volume, the unit is cubed. Let's talk about weight and mass. The two words are often used interchangeably, but they mean different things. Weight is the measurement of the heaviness of an object. It is a measurement of the downward force of gravity. Because of this, your weight can change based on where you are. For example, if you were on the moon, your weight would be different. Mass, on the other hand, is the amount of matter an object contains. This does not change based on where you are. The conversions for weight are listed below. Take a second to look at the conversions in both the customary and metric systems. Now, pause the video and see if you can answer the question that follows. This question says that a watermelon weighs 48 ounces. How many pounds is this? The conversion for pounds to ounces is 1 pound equals 16 ounces. We need to set up a conversion. On the left side, we have 1 pound to 16 ounces. And on the right side, we have x pounds over 48 ounces. How do you get from 16 to 48? You times by 3, so we must take 1 times 3. 1 times 3 is 3, so we know that 48 ounces is the same as 3 pounds. Finally, let's talk about measurements with temperature. The customary system measures temperature in Fahrenheit and the metric measures in Celsius. There are equations that can be used to convert from one to the other, but the steps listed below can also be a simple way to convert. Let's use these steps to convert the following problem. It says to turn 15 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. So we're going to use the steps in the first part, Celsius to Fahrenheit. The first step is to divide by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Then it says to times by 9. 3 times 9 is 27. And then it says to add 32. When you add 27 and 32, you get 59. So we have 59 degrees Fahrenheit.